Hello there and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, you're very welcome. This is yet another video where I'm going to take you through the easy process of making brown chapatis, or alternatively called Atta chapatis. Now, cooking for me is something that I usually say, especially when it comes to chapatis, you have to be in the mood for it. I'm definitely going to be making sure that this video is as elaborate as possible and that you're not going to miss out on anything as far as the ingredients and how to knead the dough and the lovely part that is cooking. So as you can see, I have a basin with me that is salt. This is just taking you through the ingredients. We have salt, we have our whole wheat flour, that is atta or brown if you like. I'll also be giving you a pro tip here. Now, when it comes to making atta chapatis, we use cold water. So we're going to be measuring that. This is the measuring jug, and I'm going to show you exactly how much unga or how much flour goes with how much water. Precision in the kitchen is very important. That is 1 cup. When you're measuring, please make sure that your unga is not heaped and also it is full, not almost full, like that. Shake it, just flatten it enough to make a cup. So when I'm talking of cups, that is what I mean. This is 1 cup. For 20 chapatis, we need 8 cups. 2. So you're pretty much going to measure 3. And just to make sure that you know how many chapatis you want to make and how much unga goes into it. And those are 8 cups of whole wheat flour. And because I'm going to be showing you how to make atta chapatis, 20 pieces to be precise. So here we have our flour, and then I go in with my salt to taste. People who prefer sugar and salt, you can go with that. The people who like them plain, you can also go with that. Taste is per one's preference. Now up next, for regular white chapatis where I use all-purpose flour, 8 cups would have gone with 800 ml. But because I realized that the atta or brown unga is usually a bit hard, we are going to add 100 ml extra. So instead of the 800, we're going to use 900 ml of water. That is exactly what I'm going to measure in this jug. 900 ml cold water. Not hot, not warm, cold water for brown chapatis. You add your water, and kneading is one part that most people dread, but it's also very, very important. So you need to be very patient when you're kneading your dough. The goal here is to try and make sure that you have a perfect dough where everything is well incorporated, the salt, the unga, and water. So pretty much I usually start with just mixing it in the basin, and once I mix everything together and I have like a mix of everything, I will transfer that to the work surface or the work area and continue kneading some more until everything is well kneaded and mixed together. So we continue kneading, and kneading is not for the faint-hearted. If you don't like this process, you definitely cannot keep up with the entire chapati making process. So pretty much I will keep on kneading and making sure that everything is well mixed together. Remember, the ultimate way to tell that your dough is kneaded, it will stop sticking on the surface and it will also stop sticking on your palms. So pretty much I prefer doing that so that my hands are well, not super clean, but they don't have the dough. So once it stops sticking on the surface of my hands, I know it is done. And now that my dough is well kneaded, I am going to add a tablespoon of oil on one side, knead a bit, and then I will flip on the other side and add some more oil. Once you add the oil, there isn't much you're going to do except just knead it so that it can penetrate the dough, and then you will fold, or you can just put the dough together back again, and you're going to allow your dough to sit. Now, the reason why I keep telling people I love making brown chapatis and I enjoy making brown chapatis is because for me, I find it so easy, because with brown chapatis, you don't have to let the dough sit for too long. Usually for me, 5 minutes, 10 minutes are enough, and the dough should be okay, because if you let the dough sit for quite a while, it might get too soft and become very, very sticky, and it would be difficult to work with. So you can use a cling film if you have your kitchen cling film. Because I do it almost every day, I would be wasting a lot of cling film. So usually when I buy my appliances and I have polythene paper, I clean them and I set them aside. So that is what I've used to wrap my dough, and I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then we will come back and start partitioning it into small dough balls. And remember, we used 8 cups of unga, so we are expecting to have at least 20 dough balls, and that will also be the ones that will make 20 chapatis with. Now, this particular customer wanted 40 chapatis, so as my dough sits, I'm going to be making 20 more. So I'm pretty much repeating the same process that I did with the other dough, counting 8 cups of unga. I will use the same quantities, a tablespoon of salt and 900 ml of water, pretty much duplicating what we did in the other batch, or the dough that you're seeing there on the side. But if you missed it, let's start again with this one. This is just pretty much a repeat of what we did with the other dough. Now to our 8 cups of flour and a tablespoon of salt, we are going to add 900 ml cold water yet again. And remember, the reason why I'm doing this is because I wanted to show you the precision, and see, we will get to see if you are right when you're dividing the dough. But for now, if also you don't have the muscles to knead all the 40 chapatis dough, you can do it in portions. You can see here I've done it in 2 batches. Always go with a size that you can manage to knead, because at the end of the day also, it all matters or narrows down to one's strength. And now my dough is good. And remember, the dough that is on the side has been sitting for now some minutes, and it should be now good to work with. So I'm just going to remove the wrap and wrap the fresh dough and set it aside. Now while the second dough is sitting or resting, we are going to be now working with the first batch, and that is what we are going to get into right away. Now, remember, we used 8 cups of unga, and you're expected to have nothing less of 20 pieces. Sometimes it can be exceeding by slightly tiny dough, but we are going to see that. For now, let's get into it. So now, when it comes to this part of the chapati making process, it's also very critical, because you want to make sure that your dough balls are as even or as uniform as possible. Because remember, it is from the same dough balls that you're going to be getting your chapatis. And most of the time I've had people ask me, how come all your chapatis look equal? They look like they have a uniform thickness. And I know for me to have gotten where I am, it's consistency. But if measuring, probably using your own eyes or feeling the dough with your palm is not enough, you can always use a kitchen scale. And I recommend a dough that weighs between 100 grams and 105, because once I tried doing that and I noticed that my dough balls weighed around 100 grams to 105. So I'm going to be subdividing this dough into 20 dough balls. Kindly, if this is your first time joining my YouTube channel, kindly like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below and let me know what else you would want us to be cooking next, also leave a comment. Let me know if you're willing to go and try this recipe, and if you have already tried while watching this, let me know if your chapatis turned out great. And here we have them. We managed to get our required 20 pieces. There was an extra tiny dough that I've added to the other dough because it wouldn't make sense to have a small chapati. I usually don't make the tiny ones. Very rare do I, very rare of few occasions do I make that tiny small chapati, but I know it's a very important piece. Usually when we were kids, let's just say the last borns used to be given that one so that they don't cause chaos as the chapatis are being cooked. Okay, so I don't know what you call that small tiny chapati. You can comment down below. Let me know what you call that chapati in your dialect. Now I'm just dusting my dough balls into some unga or some flour, and then the next process is also a very important one, but it's an optional process. But if you like your chapatis layered and well cooked, you cannot afford to skip it. So this has been process number 2. Remember, the first process is kneading. The next process usually is dividing your dough into dough balls. Now the third process and the most critical as far as layered chapatis is rolling out this dough, each one individually. That is how I do it, and applying some oil, dusting it with unga, and folding them into some spiral balls. You'll clearly be able to tell the difference, but that is what sets your chapatis apart. If you want to go that extra step, you're assured to get very soft layered chapatis. So let's now start rolling and folding. So this process we will call it folding, because pretty much what you're going to be doing is spreading this dough and rolling them, folding them to form some spiral dough balls, as I will demonstrate here. Now it's very important that I mention that at this point shape doesn't matter. You're just going to be rolling them, and in my case my rolling pin is long enough to accommodate 2, but if your rolling pin cannot allow you to do that, feel free to go one by one as I'm doing here. Now that you've created enough surface area to apply your oil, the next step will be applying oil on the flattened dough ball like that. And usually sometimes you'll find me doing it in batches of 5. I can also prefer to do it in one at a time. It just depends. But the end goal here is to apply oil just like I am doing. You can use your palm, you can use your pastry brush, but I prefer using my palm. It's very easy. You will dip the side that has oil first into the flour, and the main reason why you do that is so that you can enhance your layers. Pretty much the flour kind of helps the layers pop. So I repeat that with the dough ball, with all the rest of the dough, and you're just dipping the side that has oil first and then folding like that. Apply a bit of oil on the surface so that it doesn't dry out as you're working on the other dough balls. So we're going to be repeating that until we are done with the rest of the dough. Nothing good comes easy, and if you want those layered chapatis, you have to go this extra mile.
Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
And once we are done with the first 20 pieces, as you can see, we successfully managed to get the 20 pieces that we wanted. So once you are done folding, you're also going to allow your dough to sit for a bit more time. And because I had another dough, I'm just quickly going to do the same thing I've done with those ones. But when I'm cooking, I will definitely start with the ones that I rolled and folded first. So this is just me buying time, waiting for the ones that I've prepared already to settle kidogo, and then I continue with the cooking. But pretty much duplicate work, repeating the same process again with this new batch of 20 pieces. So in total, I'm going to be making 40 brown chapatis. And last but not least, we are rolling or folding rather our last piece, that is the 40th piece. And the next stage is what I enjoy now the most. Usually I feel like once I'm done with the kneading, the rolling and the folding, cooking is just like walk in the park. But I know you're not ready. Now, rolling a chapati, especially the brown ones, can be very challenging. So I want you to pay close attention to how I am actually rolling each of these dough balls. Very important to notice that do not flip and turn your chapati. Rotate your chapati as you roll. Notice how I did not at any given point turn it upside down. No, just using a rolling pin. Again, this is another tip. Do not lift your chapatis like a napkin. Use your rolling pin always to rotate and work on the areas you feel like your chapati is crooked. So now rolling is a very easy process. It depends with the skills. I've decided to change the camera angle so that you can also have that overhead view and you get to see how my hands are moving. Remember, do not exert too much pressure because you do not want your chapati too light at the center. When you roll the chapati and it's too light at the center, it tends to dry from the middle outwards. So you don't want that. Lighten your hands as much as possible. Do not exert too much pressure. Roll towards the edges. Make sure you have flattened all your edges. You don't want your chapatis looking thick on some sides and thin on the others. So avoid having too thick edges. And the only way you can achieve that is if you roll your chapati evenly. Remember, do not flip or turn your chapati upside down. Always use your rolling pin or lifting your chapati to avoid distorting it.
Searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of...
Now, as you have already noticed, I love cooking from the outside because out here the breeze is open. I do not get to feel all the heat, and this is also a very important area that I would want you to pay close attention. Now, you have so many methods on how to cook chapatis, but I'm just going to show you how I do mine, which I have found out they don't dry they end up being so soft if you cook them individually. If you watch my previous videos, I used to pile my chapatis together. It's also a good way, again, you can still pile your chapatis and they'll still be soft. I use 2 pans, so I find it time saving. And what I'm doing at this particular point is pre-cooking one side. Note better, I am only pre-cooking on one side, and once the chapati starts to bubble up, as you're seeing, I will apply oil on the top side. Then I will flip, use my spatula to enhance the contact between the chapati and the pan. And once it has cooked to golden brown on the side that has or is facing the pan, I flip. But now I have only applied oil to the side that was on top, and using my spatula, as you can see, I'm going to be rotating my chapatis on the pan, and this is just to enhance the contact. So if you can get a spatula, the better. Then people who use hands, but you'll end up feeling hot. Your palms will be very hot by the time you're done making chapatis. You'll be dreading everybody because one thing about making chapatis, people sit and eat while you're all tired and beat up. So carefully trying to make sure that I have all the sides of this beautiful pair of chapatis well cooked before I can flip it. So I'm just allowing it time, and I'm going to give it a quick check, and once I'm convinced that they are looking good, that is the only time I will add oil and flip now to cook both sides. Remember, you do not have to burn a chapati. A chapati can be well cooked without it being burnt. Just look at those chapatis. It is very, very easy to actually make them, and I am here to actually demystify the argument where people say that brown chapatis are hard. They are very, very tough to chew. They choke, all those things are made. As long as you can make the right dough, you'll end up having a very, very good product in the very end. And that is how our chapatis are looking. I'm just going to place them on my cake turntable, which I use as improvised to place my chapatis on, and repeat the same process with the rest of the chapatis. As usual, because I had rolled enough to start with, I usually have that head start. I'm going to place them onto the fire, allow them to pre-cook on one side, apply oil and flip, and the process continues until we have all our chapatis ready.
Kids across the lane, Savannah, I'm coming home, Savannah, we'll never be alone, Savannah, the beauty of the world, Savannah, let's all take a ride, Savannah.
And here we are with our 2 pieces of the 20. We have cooked 10. Usually our minimum order quantity is 10, so I prefer cooking them in batches of 10 and setting them aside, and I'll continue cooking the rest. But importantly, what I wanted you to see is the entire process from the measuring of the dough, knowing how many chapatis or how much unga goes with how much water. And if you follow everything from the beginning to the very end, and if you have come up to this point of this video, thumbs up, clap for yourself, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know. I am so eager to hear from you. Let me know if this has been helpful, if it is a bit more detailed. I maybe not have gotten it all perfectly, fine, but I wanted to make sure that in as much as I'm editing, I'm not editing out important bits of the video. And here we have our brown chapatis already. Of course, I'm going to continue cooking, but for the purposes of this video, this is as far as we can come. And I thank you so much if you have watched up to this point. Like, share, comment, suggest to me the kind of video you want me to do up next, but don't go too far, as I will be making some fluffy pancakes for you very soon. Until next time, bye bye.
We'll never be alone.